An erection is hydraulic, a signal from the brain, a nerve firing, a vessel relaxing, blood rushing in under pressure and staying there. If the pressure drops or the vessel doesn't open, firmness doesn't happen. Today I'll go straight to the point. There is a way of drinking water that changes this response within minutes, because it works exactly where the process fails: blood volume and the vessel's ability to open at the right time. This is not a trick, not a fad. It's applied physiology, step by step. Let's set the scene. You wake up, go hours without water, grab coffee first, and only remember your glass mid-morning. During that gap, the body runs in liquid deficit. Blood becomes thicker, circulation slows down, and the inner lining of your arteries loses agility to relax. Result? When the stimulus comes, the signal is there, but the flow enters weakly. What I'll show you is the opposite of this routine: a hydration rhythm that thins the blood early, primes the vessels before the body asks, and delivers pressure exactly when it matters. Think of the body as an irrigation system with delicate valves. It doesn't work with a sudden flood, but with steady flow. When you dump a huge glass of water in at once, especially at night, you overload the kidneys, disrupt deep sleep, and wake up multiple times. Broken sleep crashes hormone cycles, and the morning erection disappears. When you spend the day dry and only drink after lunch, digestion takes priority. Blood shifts to the stomach and heaviness wins over energy. The fix begins earlier. Water at the right times, in small doses, stabilizing circulation and keeping erectile tissue supplied without overload. The first adjustment is simple. Within half an hour of waking, drink a medium glass of water before anything else. It's the reset button. In minutes, blood flows with less friction, the endothelium wakes up, and vessels respond faster. After that, avoid oversized glasses. Keep steady sips through the morning, 2 to 4 times an hour, calmly. This keeps volume stable, protects blood pressure, and gives the body time to distribute the fluid. 20 to 30 minutes before a walk, light exercise, or intimacy, half a glass. That's the advance notice your vascular system understands: open, receive, sustain. The trick is rhythm, not total volume. When the body gets water in predictable pulses, it stops working on improvisation. The kidneys filter at the right pace, the heart doesn't need to overcompensate, and the vessels in the intimate region, the finest in the body, get the chance to open without resistance. The interesting part is that the first signs appear outside the bedroom: warmer hands by late morning, a clearer head in the afternoon, lighter steps on a short climb. Soon after, morning erections return. It's not coincidence. It's the same mechanism running with less friction. There's also what to avoid. Large amounts of water with heavy meals slow digestion and steal blood flow from the rest of the body. Very cold water in big glasses gives the feeling of fullness and dampens the urge to move. Coffee before water increases fluid loss and keeps blood dense at the worst time of day. Reverse the order: water first, then coffee. At night, reduce intake 2 hours before bed. Protect deep sleep, because that's when the body organizes hormones and secures responsiveness. This video is about a practical solution for erectile dysfunction, and the first block of the plan is this: drinking water in a way that favors the body's hydraulics. No empty promises, no shortcuts, just the right sequence and consistency. In the next sections, I'll detail timings, amounts, and simple combinations that enhance this response, so you can move from sometimes works to always works. Before we go further, check if you're already subscribed to the channel, so you don't miss the next chapters of this series on circulation, energy, and firmness. And leave in the comments, in one word, if you're ready to try this protocol. Write water. If you prefer to rely on pills, write pill. I want to see where you stand today so I can guide you in the next step. A man's body between 60 and 80 no longer stores water the way it once did. Muscle mass, which acts as a reservoir, decreases with age. Less muscle means less storage space for fluid, and the result is simple. Even small drops in hydration directly affect circulation. And here's the key detail: an erection is, at its core, a hydraulic process. The penis doesn't harden just from desire, but because blood, rich in water, must quickly fill tissue that works like a sponge. If that blood volume is low, or if it's too thick, the response fails. If you're starting to see how hydration can transform circulation and restore firmness, you'll want to know I've prepared something even more complete. In my digital book, Rediscovering Intimacy, Healthy Sexuality, After 60, I explain in detail how small habits, like how you drink, water, the foods you choose, and minor daily adjustments, can restore intimate vitality, strengthen vessels, and naturally reignite desire. Access is available through the link in the first pinned comment. This could be your next step to transform not just your erection, but also your energy and your love life. Many men believe that feeling thirsty is enough to remind them to drink water, but thirst is already a late signal. It's your body warning that it's in a deficit. By that point, your blood is thicker, pressure in the small vessels has dropped, and the intimate region, which relies on microcirculation, feels it first. That's why a lack of water doesn't show up as one big symptom, but as small signs that add up: cold hands, unusual fatigue, difficulty concentrating, and increasingly inconsistent erections. Here's an interesting detail. Even a drop of just 2% in total body hydration already reduces physical performance, mental clarity, and intimate firmness. It sounds small, but that tiny shift is enough to turn your blood into a slower fluid, unable to fully fill the penis. A man might think it's stress or age, but in reality, it's a basic mechanism. Without enough water, there's no hydraulic pressure to sustain the process. When proper hydration returns to your routine, the difference shows up in layers. First in daytime energy, then in sleep, then in confidence, and finally, in a solid erection. There's no magic, just physics and biology working together. If this reasoning makes sense to you, go ahead and like this video now. That simple gesture shows this content matters and helps bring this information to other men who need to regain their vitality. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how drinking water the right way changes not only your intimate life but also how your whole body responds to aging. Contrary to what many imagine, the problem isn't just how much water you drink, but how you drink it. The most common mistake among older men is waiting until they feel thirsty and then gulping down large amounts all at once. It seems efficient, but that's not how the body works. When water enters in sudden excess, the kidneys are forced to flush it out quickly, and much of what could hydrate cells and vessels is wasted in under an hour. The blood remains thick, circulation stays slow, and the desired effect, better firmness, simply doesn't happen. Timing is another critical point. Many men pack their fluid intake into the end of the day, thinking it compensates for poor hydration earlier. The result is a quiet side effect: nights broken by trips to the bathroom. And here's a decisive detail for sexual health. Deep sleep is one of the main drivers of testosterone production. If rest is fragmented, hormone levels drop, and the impact is felt directly in your energy, desire, and erection quality. There's a third, lesser-known habit: drinking water only with meals. This temporarily diverts blood flow to digestion, reducing supply to other areas, including the intimate region. It's as if the body has to choose priorities, and intimacy almost always loses. Small adjustments in how you hydrate can completely change this picture. When water intake is spread out at regular intervals throughout the day, blood stays thinner, vessels more relaxed, and pressure adequate to fill erectile tissue at the right moment. That consistency creates a stable ground for an erection to happen without hesitation. In that balance, many men rediscover the firmness they thought they'd lost, not through medication, but by simply correcting a daily habit. There's another detail most men miss: how water distributes through the body after you drink it. It doesn't go straight from the stomach to the muscles or the penis. There's an intricate process involving intestinal absorption, transport through the bloodstream, and finally delivery to the cells. And it's along this route that failures can occur. As we age, the amount of water inside cells decreases, and the body becomes less efficient at retaining the fluid it receives. The result is a state of low-grade, almost invisible dehydration. There's no intense thirst, no constant dry mouth, yet the blood is already thicker and moving more slowly than it should. This first affects the most delicate tissues, such as the vessels in the intimate region, which need maximum flexibility to dilate quickly and allow blood to enter. When flow is compromised, the body still responds to stimulation, but with delay, lower volume, and less consistency. It's like turning on a faucet attached to a narrow, rusty pipe. The water comes out, but without pressure. The erection becomes irregular, less firm, and often frustrating. The good news is that simply hydrating continuously in small doses works like an invisible lubricant for this system. Blood circulates more easily. The endothelium, the thin layer lining your vessels, stays elastic, and arteries can expand effortlessly. That's when an erection starts to feel natural again: quick, strong, and stable. More than quenching thirst, water fulfills its essential role as circulatory fuel, reactivating a mechanism many men thought was already lost. There's a specific time of day when water becomes a true trigger for intimate circulation: the early morning hours. After 6, 7, or even 8 hours of sleep, the body wakes up fluid-deprived. Blood is thicker, vessels slightly constricted, and the heart needs extra effort to pump. That's precisely when one of the biggest drops in vascular performance occurs, and also the most strategic moment to act. Drinking water right after waking works like a system reboot. The fluid reaches an empty stomach, absorbs quickly, and within minutes begins to thin the blood, increase plasma volume, and ease the heart's workload. For the vessels in the intimate region, this means getting a head start even before any external stimulus. The body wakes not only with renewed mental energy, but also with channels ready to receive the blood flow that sustains an erection. The effect is so noticeable that many men report changes in the very first mornings they adopt the habit. Warmer hands and feet, a greater sense of vitality, and above all, the return of spontaneous morning erections. That's because water on an empty stomach activates not only circulation, but also hormonal signals that stimulate testosterone production and the release of nitric oxide, two fundamental pieces of the intimate response. This isn't a miracle hidden in expensive capsules, but a simple physiological logic. When the body wakes without water, it wakes at a disadvantage. When it gets the right hydration early, it activates mechanisms that were stuck, giving a man a firmness he thought was gone. It's a subtle adjustment with deep repercussions for anyone seeking to regain confidence and vigor. There's another point many men overlook: how they drink water before intimacy can be decisive for performance. Chugging a large glass all at once right before the moment may feel like reinforcement, but it can do the opposite. A full stomach increases abdominal pressure, digestion steals energy from circulation, and the flow that should be directed to the erectile tissue is partially diverted. The result can be a promising start, but firmness that fades too quickly. The solution isn't excess, it's strategy. Small sips of water taken about 20 to 30 minutes beforehand act as a quiet warm-up. Blood becomes more fluid, vessels dilate naturally, and the heart meets less resistance when pumping. It's like tuning the body just before the performance, ensuring every detail is ready to respond without hesitation. This timing tweak also boosts confidence. A man who feels his body responding predictably enters intimacy without fear of failing. He no longer relies on improvised tricks, but on an organism in sync with its own needs. What's interesting is that this effect isn't limited to sexual performance. Men who adopt planned hydration also notice better mental clarity and greater physical stamina. That's because the same blood that irrigates the intimate region delivers oxygen to the brain and power to the muscles. When the body learns to use water as a strategic ally, every response becomes faster, firmer, and more consistent. We've reached an essential point. Drinking water the right way isn't just about quenching thirst. It's an act that redefines how your body works in every detail. An erection doesn't appear out of nowhere. It depends on a finely tuned orchestra of circulation, nerves, and hormones. And water, used strategically, is the baton that conducts that symphony. Men who learn to hydrate intelligently report a transformation that goes beyond the bedroom. They wake with more energy, walk with more ease, think more clearly, and carry renewed confidence. The simple habit of drinking at the right time creates a virtuous cycle. Blood runs stronger, vessels respond better, and the entire body regains a rhythm that seemed lost. This means the secret isn't hunting for miracle formulas, but respecting what the body has always needed. The man who understands this logic starts to see water not as a minor routine detail, but as a powerful ally, discreet, accessible, and indispensable. Now that you've seen how this simple care can change not only your erection but your overall vitality, it's time to take the next step. Subscribe to the channel to keep receiving content that reveals practical, natural strategies to strengthen intimate health. Also, give this video a like. It shows it made a difference for you and helps bring this message to other men who need it. And before you go, explore the other videos on the channel. Each one opens a new door to caring for your body, your energy, and your confidence. It's been a pleasure being with you. Take care, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.